Hey, you're watching Water from Reddit. Grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's dive in. My boyfriend tried to commit last night, and I can't talk to anybody about it. I was at work last night when one of his friends called me saying they were worried about him and that I needed to check on him. He has a history of depression and attempts before. I got home as soon as I could, and he had drank almost a whole bottle of whiskey by himself. He had a gun in his mouth, and while I was trying to talk to him, he was going in between talking about how much pain he was in and how he wanted it to end, to not even knowing where he was and telling me I had just broken into his hotel room. When he was coherent, he was going in between begging me to just leave and let him go because he couldn't stand it anymore, to being angry at me for forcing him to stay alive when he didn't want to. He tried locking me out of the room, and I broke the door trying to get back in. It was terrifying and lasted 3 hours. I'm scared that this will happen again, and I don't know what to do. He has already said he would not willingly be hospitalized, and even if I was able to get him there involuntarily, I don't see how it would help. He would lose his job, be isolated from his loved ones on top of probably being resistant to treatment if he was there. I don't know what to do to help. And if I'm being selfish here, the experience was so traumatic I feel like my nerves are fried, and I don't know how to deal with this. This morning we barely talked. I asked how he was feeling now, and he said he still feels the same way, and he just wanted to be alone. Last night after I got the gun away from him, he told me that even if he didn't do it that night, it was going to happen eventually. My heart hurts so badly knowing he's in this much pain, and he is resistant to help. How do I help him when he doesn't want me to? You're watching Water for Reddit. Next story. Why does my life feel so meaningless? I used to be a frequent poster on here when I was 14 lol, when I was first starting to struggle with depression. I used to go by a different username back then, and I never want to go back because those horrible times are over, and I'd rather die than go through it again. But my point is, I'm 18 now and I've been struggling with depression for 4 years. It's gotten much better nowadays. Compared to 4 years ago, when I couldn't think of anything else apart from my pain and was bedridden all the time, my life now is much better. I've found hobbies and things I like doing, and over the past 2 years, I've slowly been recovering, along with the help of meds. My point is, I still cannot seem to shake off the persistent feeling of loneliness and existential dread, no matter what I do. Even after all these years, I still think about ending it frequently, though I no longer actively try to, and I still feel lonely on almost a daily basis. My hobbies right now, and for the past 2 years, have been reading and watching videos about various philosophical topics, drawing, painting, horror art, and journaling. The more recent hobbies I've taken up are working out and carving wood for the past year or more. I also play Roblox quite frequently. Despite all these hobbies, I still feel empty and meaningless sometimes. I find myself wondering about the meaning of life all the time, and it's fucking annoying because it's been so many years and still, this question won't leave me the fuck alone. Also my loneliness. They just don't seem to go away. In case anyone's wondering, I'm agnostic, and I stopped believing in God when I started to go into severe depression. I was praying to God every day, but no one was there to save me, so I've been agnostic since then. I've tried believing God again, but I can't seem to bring myself to do so. If you're wondering about whether I have friends, it's quite a pathetic situation. Long story short, I've tried my hardest to make friends, and I can't seem to find someone who will stay or who has similar interests to me. I've tried really, really hard. Please trust me on this. And I no longer want to attempt making friends because it hurts so bad and I'm sick and tired of it. A lot of the people just ghost me or find better friends who have similar interests to them. I've tried making friends in school as well, and the people in my class are an entirely different type of people compared to me. Outgoing, extroverted, loud, basically the opposite of me. I did have one close friend whose company I enjoyed very much, and she seemed to enjoy my company as well. But she cut things off all of a sudden as she confessed to me that she wasn't comfortable with me being queer bi, and that she doesn't want to be friends with men or something like that. But that's another thing. What I'm trying to say is, I'm not incapable of making friends because she seemed to actually like my company, and we had good times together. Does anyone know how to make this go away or why this is happening? I've been searching for answers for years and can't seem to find anything. Thanks. Let's keep watching water for Reddit. My fiancé's depression is getting worse. Hi everyone, my 22F fiancé, 25M, confided in me last night how he's tired of life and tired of the world. He says he wishes he didn't have to work for a living, making someone else money, how the world is unkind to people. He hates never being able to do fun things because of his work schedule. And when he does do things, it's only because he has an hour left of daylight after work. He also stated he wishes that it's unfair how we have to pay bills just to survive, and how he wishes he wasn't here to do that. For context, he's a job hopper. He has nearly 30+ jobs in his lifetime and has left or quit every single one because of how they treat him or because they're not giving him enough hours. He saw 2 different therapists and said neither of them understand, and he doesn't want to do medicine. I'm at a loss on how I should support him. He recently stopped smoking cigarettes, so I think that was masking his depression because he's never said these things before. He's an auto mechanic who works 7:30 a.m., 6 p.m. and collects baseball cards on the side. After he comes home to eat dinner, he only has about an hour and a half before having to go to bed to get enough sleep. I really don't know what to say to him to make it better. His parents divorced by the time he was 5, and he has severe ADHD as well. How do I make him feel better? My heart broke when he said those things to me. You're watching water for Reddit. I got sober, and I'm more depressed than ever. I've been addicted to alcohol for 10 years. I used to do drugs and quit doing them about 5 years ago. Alcohol, however, has been my constant friend. It was my relief, my answer, my relaxation, the only sense of being okay I ever really had away from the anxiety, the depression, the trauma, the flashbacks from abuse, etc. I know I'm an alcoholic because I keep drinking despite negative consequences, which is how my doctor told me to gauge it. I've gotten in trouble with the law for drinking. I'm currently on probation. Relationships have ended because of drinking. I'm still in college at 26 because I've had to take semesters, sometimes multiple in a row off due to my poor mental health, legal troubles, or failing because I quit showing up to class. Last November, I finally went to rehab. I spent 33 days in an inpatient facility. They promised me that sobriety was my way out. They said if I could just stay sober, everything else would fall into place. I met many success stories while I was there. People who used to be addicted and ended up turning their whole lives around and becoming therapists, nurses, chefs, behavioral techs, etc. This gave me hope. I'm doing all the right things. I work. I go to AA. I go to therapy. I go for walks. I keep my house tidy. I eat clean and get 8 hours of sleep. But no matter what, since I got sober, depression hangs over me like a thick black cloud. It's everywhere. I work from home and showering every day is difficult. Sometimes I barely brush my teeth. Today is a beautiful sunny Sunday. I'm off work. I'm supposed to be out, enjoying sobriety, doing something. All I've done is sit in bed and surf my phone all day. I can't get up. I don't even want to go outside. I've grown distant from the few friends I have. I have no motivation to try in school anymore. It's maddening. I'm doing my part. They promised me it would get better. It hasn't. I'm not sure when this golden solution of sobriety is supposed to begin. What is the point if my life is miserable, if I'm miserable? On days like this, I miss alcohol, the buzz and the relief, the temporary happiness, no matter how fleeting. It's just hard, man. I'm so tired of feeling this way. I'm in a lot of pain, and I don't know how much longer I can keep going. Throwaway, since I know for sure at least one friend, S, uses Reddit regularly. For the record, I'm 18. This has been building for years. I remember feeling truly happy and at ease until I was around 12, before finishing primary school. High school was a brutal experience. My ASD became very apparent within the first few months, and I was relentlessly bullied for it from start to finish by dozens of people. I was called hurtful names I don't wish to repeat, and the constant insults caused me to withdraw for the most part. I changed from a previously outgoing and cheerful person to an anxious, deeply introverted one, fearful of connecting with others. I actually made some friends in my year at the beginning, but as my introversion worsened, I couldn't maintain those friendships. I also noticed some people I thought were friends excluding me, and some even manipulated me. Having liked cars, I pursued a car mechanic course during the last 2 years of high school. I thought that, considering my interest, this would be a career I would be willing to take on. Boy, was I very wrong. I met a few people while I was there, but my emerging depression made it impossible to maintain connection with them after course completion. Final high school exams came and went, and I received my high school certificate and course certification around late November 2024, but it felt meaningless given my situation. Now it's June 2025, and I'm turning 19 in just over a month. My depression and social anxiety have gotten much worse since graduating. I spend most of my time at home, mostly in my bedroom, unemployed, unmotivated, and completely lost. My small friend group, the latest one I have managed to sustain for around 2 years, amazingly somehow still together post-graduation, is now mostly consumed by drugs, and because of this, I feel increasingly disconnected from them, given it's all they ever seem to care about now. They constantly want me to come with them, sometimes even driving them to sketchy, secluded areas just to get high. I feel I have become the insignificant person of the group. I am left with my egotistical, narcissistic father, who was never truly there to support me or the family, and my loving but unaware mother. She had always told me I had so much potential and constantly wished the best for me, but never really understood my deepest struggles. My father now constantly berates me, calling me a sore loser, while my mother looks on with sorrow. Meanwhile, my sister seems perfectly happy, constantly chatting and laughing with her friends both in person and online. Even my hobbies, which used to bring me immense joy and satisfaction, no longer seem to. To top it all off, my parents had an enormous fight yesterday, and my mother indirectly hinted at me that she may want a divorce from my father in the near future. The pain is overwhelming. I just wish I could painlessly vaporize into thin air. My chest hurts from typing this. I'm gonna go get some rest. End event. My best friend is getting married, and I don't think I like the person I become around her anymore. I, 31, have been best friends with E, 32, since high school. We've been through everything. Moves, breakups, family drama, ride or die. But over the past years, as she'd been planning her wedding, something shifted, and I'm starting to feel like the worst version of myself around her. She's always been intense, a little controlling, but lately it feels like she's turned that up to 100. Everything's about her timeline. She texts me at 1 am about seating charts and gets passive-aggressive if I don't respond fast enough. She makes these little jabs, like when I said I might not be able to make the bachelorette trip because of money. She said, "Well, some people prioritize what matters." I've started dreading her texts. I keep trying to hype myself up before seeing her, but then I feel small and snappy and bitter the whole time. I find myself being petty in ways I hate. I replay convos later and think, why did I say that? Or why do I let her talk to me like that? It's not jealousy. I'm genuinely happy she's happy. But I feel like I'm being sucked into her orbit again, where my role is to support, agree, stay small, and show up. And if I don't, I'm selfish or negative. I'm scared that saying any of this out loud makes me sound like a bad friend. She's not a villain, she's just stressed and excited and maybe kind of oblivious. But I'm realizing I've been minimizing myself around her for years. This isn't new. It's just harder to ignore now that there's a wedding dress involved. How do you tell someone you love that being around them makes you feel worse about yourself lately? Can you even say that without destroying everything? My best friend is getting married and has become super intense and controlling, and I don't like who I am around her anymore. I'm scared to bring it up because I don't want to lose the friendship, but I feel small every time we interact. I hate bedtime with my kids. It makes me hate being their parent. Now, before you judge, it's honestly affecting my mental health. Yes, I have started to see someone, but it's not helping because MYKIDS still want GO the F to bed. My kids 3.5 and 2.5 are absolutely DS at bedtime. My first, who is now 12, was a complete champ and so easy. They drag their feet, run around the house, throw stuff. I put the 2.5-yo to bed first as they share a room. No, it's not possible for them not to share. She takes around 1.5 hours. We then do our 3.5-yo, who will not go to bed without us laying in the bed with him. This could take up to 3 hours. He moves around, yells, talks, almost wakes up his sister multiple times, touches and moves everything he can, kicks the walls, and is just all round super difficult. Walking out and leaving him does fa as he just yells out at us constantly, and it wakes his sister. I feel like this is never ending. It's been like this for 1.5 years now. We don't get our nights. From 06, 30 p.m., 10 p.m., it's us putting them to bed. I hate my life. I didn't have kids to completely fucking ruin myself. And yes, we did choose this, but you chose your stupid job and you still complain about it. Ugh, I'm just hating this parenting stage. The tantrums are endless. They don't eat a single thing I make. I waste so much money on food because of this. They butt heads all the time. I took them to the movies today as I felt bad for my 12, who has missed out on us as parents for the last year and a half. Hubby was at work, and it's a long weekend. It was a complete disaster, trying to run around the cinemas. I ended up leaving my 12-yo in there and left with the other 2, who threw themselves on the floor and screamed blue murder because I told them they couldn't run around. I spent the next hour with 2 screaming kids in the mall, so it didn't ruin it for my 12-yo. I'm sorry, I'm just completely tested out and don't know a single other person or mom in my life whose kids are beyond crazy like mine, so no one understands. I watched a camel die when I was 7, and I have not touched meat since. People assumed I left religion because of my mental illness, but it was this moment that broke me. It was Eid al-Adha. I was 7, the kind of age where you are old enough to remember things forever but still too young to make sense of anything. I was in my village, surrounded by family, surrounded by faith, and surrounded by that atmosphere of celebration that usually makes kids excited. But not that day. A camel stood there, tied, towering, breathing like it knew something was coming. And it did. Everyone around me smiled and chanted prayers. I knew what was going to happen. This was not the first time I'd seen animals being sacrificed. But something about this camel, it had a presence and awareness. Like it was not just an animal, it was someone. They laid it down, forced it actually. It started shouting. Not crying, shouting. Deep, guttural sounds that did not sound like an animal. They sounded like a language, like a scream that transcended species. Something that every human soul should be able to understand, please. I turned around. I could not bear to look. But ears do not have eyelids. I heard it all. Its final scream. That moment carved itself into my brain like a scar. It was not the blood. It was not the knife. It was that sound, that helpless, hopeless scream that told me I was standing in the middle of a ritual where nobody else heard what I heard. I was a devout Muslim at that time. Prayed 5 times, fasted, read the Quran. I believed. I really believed. But after that day, I could not eat meat again. Not camel, not goat, not cow, nothing. I did not say anything dramatic. I did not protest. I just refused to chew death. Even as a child, it felt like betrayal. There is this quote, I do not even remember who said it, but it lives in my head. Animals are my friends, and I do not eat my friends. That sentence became my quiet rebellion. I am 22 now, 15 years, thousands of occasions, weddings, birthdays, funerals, Eids, family dinners, school events. The pressure to just eat a little was constant, sometimes soft, sometimes violent. You are disrespecting the blessing. You are insulting the sacrifice. Are you even Muslim? People would mind, roll their eyes, whisper behind my back, but I never broke. Over time, I noticed something. My refusal to eat meat was the first thing that made my family suspect I was leaving religion. Not the books I read, not the prayers I stopped, not the questions I asked, but that stubborn, silent choice to not chew a piece of flesh. Because in their eyes, faith was something you show through rituals. And for me, not participating in that one ritual was louder than any debate I could ever start. It was not logic that pulled me away from religion. It was empathy. It was a scream. It was a dying camel that made me realize that maybe morality is not inherited through scriptures, but through experience. Through how much you are willing to feel, even when no one else does. I am not here to tell anyone what to eat, what to believe, or how to celebrate. I am just here, finally putting it into words, something I have carried in silence for 15 years. I did not stop eating meat because of a trend. I stopped because a camel screamed like a human, and I was the only one who heard it. Thanks for watching Water from Reddit. Subscribe to Water from Reddit, and don't miss the next wave.